This video was sponsored by the Magic Candle Company.
Somewhere high on a mountain in the middle of the Magic Kingdom Park, where the sleeping frog fishes and giant birds nibble slices of melon, water gently trickles through the laughing place. And just when you're getting used to all the laughing and floating there in your comfy log, it happens. The water doesn't trickle so gently anymore. And the frog, well, he isn't sleeping at all. In fact, you begin to wonder if he was ever really fishing. And then, before you can even ask your log mates if you should pick up that hitchhiking crocodile, it appears. The giant Briar Patch!
Wow, this commercial's really repetitive. Okay, there we go. In the eyes of many people, it's a Disneyland and Magic Kingdom classic. It's a must-do. You have to head there straight away once you get to the park. Unless it's cold, then stay away. But it is also an IP-based ride, and the IP it's based off of is not good. It's actually bad. And during the summer of 2020, 2 years ago at this point, mind you, Disney announced that the ride would undergo a retheme, now themed around the Princess and the Frog. Hopefully, I say this a lot, still named Splash Mountain. It would be a tragedy to lose one of the mountains. So, 2 years ago, Disney announced a retheme. Okay, perfect, that's fine. Fine by me. Still Splash Mountain though. Is it gonna happen? Like, I'm asking seriously, is Disney considering not doing the retheme at all and just hoping all of this blows over and they can just keep Splash Mountain alive? I don't know. I have a few theories, but let's just all remember to be kind to one another in the comments, alright? Don't make me come down there! Let's start by looking at the original announcement posted to the Disney Parks blog in June of 2020. Disney says, "New adventures with Princess Tiana coming to Disneyland Park and Magic Kingdom Park." So this is, yes, for both Anaheim and Orlando. We've known that for a while. Today we are thrilled to share a first glimpse of a project Imagineers have been working on since last year. Splash Mountain, both at Disneyland Park in California and Magic Kingdom Park in Florida, will soon be completely reimagined. Skipping forward a little bit, the voice of Princess Tiana and Tony Award-winning actress Anika Noni Rose shared, "It is really exciting to know that Princess Tiana's presence in both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom will finally be fully realized. As passionate as I am about what we created, I know the fans are going to be over the moon. Imagineers are giving us the Princess and the Frog Mardi Gras celebration we've been waiting for, and I'm here for it." So, a little plot detail there. This will be taking place after the movie and during a Mardi Gras celebration, which I think, honestly, is a amazing fit for New Orleans Square and Disneyland. Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom, they're gonna have to work a little overtime to make that theme fit, but I think they can. From this first blog post, as part of the creative development process, conceptual design work is well underway, and Imagineers will soon be able to conduct preliminary reviews and develop a timeline for when the transformation can start to take shape. It's been 2 years. Have I said that enough in this video? Now I think at this point we can all agree that when Disney says soon, they mean anywhere between 5 years and tomorrow, because, you know, Tron is a thing. Disney, up until that point, went pretty much radio silent for another year until August of last year, 2021, when they released some interviews and a little bit more concept art for what we can expect to see in this new version of Splash Mountain. This is it. This is all we have gotten so far. This looks like the first scene right after what is currently known as Slip and Falls when you go into the How Do You Do segment of Splash Mountain. And in this blog post, Disney says, and I quote, "Tiana is leading the way and fans will be able to encounter old friends and make new ones along the way as well." So, if any of you were worried about the America Sings animatronics disappearing from Splash Mountain, don't worry. From Disney's wording and this concept art, you see them in the background there, it looks like they're going to be sticking around for a little while longer. You can't get rid of America Sings that easy. Other Other things that I assume are going to be staying the same is the Disneyland and Walt Disney World railroads are still going to pass through the attraction, and I think the Zippity Lady, although with a different name, will be sticking around for that grand finale scene. And the vultures, ooh, the vultures, they gotta stay. I love these boys. So here we are now, in May of 2022, almost a full year after the last update, and we have not heard a peep from Disney. Although they have announced that Tony Baxter, my good friend, will be taking the role of creative advisor for this new retheme. And there is not a single Imagineer that I trust more than Tony Baxter when it comes to retheming an attraction. There's probably another one that he would very much like to retheme, but that's, gotta wait for that one. They just can't keep that guy in retirement. So what gives? What are we waiting for? What is Disney going to announce this year, potentially, about this new Splash Mountain? If they do announce anything at all, they might not. Possibility number 1, it could be delayed. If you've been keeping up with Disney Parks news for the past couple years, you've noticed that Disney has sort of quietly delayed a number of attractions. The Spaceship Earth refurbishment, the Avengers e-ticket in Avengers Campus, the Mary Poppins attraction. All of these attractions and a few more were quietly shelved or delayed during COVID. And there is a very strong possibility that the Splash Mountain retheme was shelved along with them. Okay, so if the attraction was delayed, what is Disney's order of operations right now? What do they want to open and fix up before they tackle Splash Mountain? And I think the thing at the very top of Disney and JPEG's list right now, besides, ticket price increases and Genie Plus, is Epcot, which, I can't complain. I do love Epcot. And I think right behind the Epcot refresh are the land refreshes, specifically at Disneyland. Now, when I say land refresh, just think about what's going on at Epcot right now at Walt Disney World and put it on a much smaller scale and over in Anaheim, because there's not many land refreshes going on right now in Walt Disney World. But over at Disneyland, they're taking the stump out for the Swiss Family Treehouse / Tarzan's Treehouse in Adventureland. You're getting a brand new, all reimagined Toontown and Runaway Railway, and have you looked at New Orleans Square recently? It's just full of walls. It's wall land right now. But it also has the Haunted Mansion, so still worth a visit. Still highly recommend. So if you were wondering where Princess and the Frog lies on Disney's list of priorities, it's at least 3 slots back, if not further. We're going to talk about what could be in front of it. Now, if I were to guess Disney's order of operations, it would be Epcot as their number 1 priority right now to finish up, Tron, then small land refreshes like we're seeing over at Disneyland, and then maybe potentially the Princess and the Frog. And that's not even talking or thinking about the other delayed / canceled attractions like Mary Poppins or the Avengers. Possibility 2, it's happening, but not for a while because they just got ahead of themselves announcing it. We all remember 2020, right? I don't have to go into deep detail because that was quite the year, if you remember. And after the topic of Splash Mountain's theming was raised and beginning to gain public attention, Disney decided to go and get ahead of themselves and announce a retheme way ahead of when they actually wanted to. This is something that they had on the back shelf and were preparing to announce at some point, maybe even this year at this D23, or I guess it would have been 2021's D23 before it was delayed. There they would have announced the Princess and the Frog retheme if everything had gone according to plan. But that also raises the question still, if they were going to announce it in 2021, it's now 2022 and they haven't begun work on it still. Sure, I'm not expecting them to start work overnight on this brand new version of the attraction, but the thing is that the thing that sort of rubs me a really weird way is that they have done multiple deep refurbs on Splash Mountain at Disneyland and Walt Disney World since this announcement was made. And instead of going ahead and starting this retheme during these refurbishments, they just fixed up Splash Mountain, opened it as it was. It's still Splash Mountain. And instead of, fixing things up, getting them pre-ready for the retheme, they sort of just left everything the same, just made sure it ran and it ran well, and didn't do anything about any of the broken show scenes, maybe the inconsequential amount of fixes that they actually did to the attraction during the refurbishment is a secret, is a little hint as to how much money they're willing to invest in Splash Mountain before they just go all in on the Princess and the Frog retheme. Essentially just giving everything a fresh coat of paint, making sure it looks okay before they go ahead and go all in on Princess and the Frog. And, speaking of going all in on the Princess and the Frog, here is a little mini theory as to why it's taking so long for this thing to be even announced or opened, and that is the plans for the Princess and the Frog retheme have grown. They've grown beyond just the attraction. Now, I've said before that I would like them to sort of re-theme Critter Country into an expanded bayou area of New Orleans Square, because New Orleans Square, over to the left if you're facing Splash Mountain, is mostly just the French Quarter, right? Back by the Blue Bayou, the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's very French Quarter. It's very Old City New Orleans. Meanwhile, Critter Country is very much in the forest, and I think a Splash Mountain themed around a bayou area would be really cool. Meanwhile, in Frontierland, I talked about how they might have some trouble theming the ride around the sort of Mississippi River frontier that they're going for. Instead, they might make a small mini New Orleans Square area around Splash Mountain. Think about it. It could explain why it's taking so long. The plans keep growing or changing because the project itself isn't set in stone. They don't know what they want to do yet, how big or how small they want to go. And the only place you can get beignets at Walt Disney World is at one of the resort hotels, so I hope that they add maybe a small, little, tiny beignet stand outside Splash Mountain when Tiana eventually does move in, because everybody deserves beignets in the park. I don't know, like I said, it's a mini theory. Is it going to happen? I probably wouldn't bet on it, but it's something to just keep at the front of your brain, because you never really know what Disney's going to announce, especially these days. It's really just sort of up in the air. And of course, possibility 3, DEF CON 1, the absolute last resort. Disney has canceled the retheme. Why though? What could they possibly have to gain by canceling this retheme? Well, for one, money, and we all know one specific person at the Walt Disney Company who absolutely cannot get enough of it. It saves them money in the long term, but it doesn't really save them face, because they promised they would retheme the attraction for reasons, but then to just obviously not do that, it looks really bad. And then you'd have to answer the question, well, if they're not going to do a Princess and the Frog retheme, what is going to happen to Splash Mountain? Because something does need to happen. Even if it's not a complete retheme, the ride, at least at Disneyland, is not looking good recently. Lights are sometimes out, animatronics will be broken or unmoving, or sometimes just completely missing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's no Indiana Jones adventure, but it could be in better shape. A lot better shape. I mean, come on, if I wanted to go swimming, I'd just go to the resort pool, am I right? Am I right or am I right? As for what they would do instead, I'm not too sure. I think The Princess and the Frog is an amazing fit for Disneyland Splash Mountain at least, but Disney World's, I don't know. Maybe you could bring back the Western River Expedition and just make it a generic Western-based attraction like Big Thunder Mountain. That way it would fit better in with Frontierland than just a bayou scene in the middle of the Wild West. But like I said, I do trust Disney on making the theming cohesive and making the transition feel natural. Now, of these 3 possibilities, kind of 3.5 that I presented to you, I think the first one is the most likely. It's just been put on the back burner, and Disney doesn't want to say that they've delayed it. But I think if we don't hear anything at this year's D23 in September, I think it's safe to say that it's going to be a number of years before the Princess and the Frog retheme happens. I'm talking like 5 to 8 years. It's not gonna be for a little bit. Now, of course, there are people out there who are sad to see Splash Mountain go, but I think the words of the lead Imagineer behind the project, Sharita Carter, should be able to put some of those worries and fears to rest. I trust this woman. Listen to what she has to say.
Happy to say that we are taking the beautiful, wonderful character of Tiana and we're bringing her to an immersive space so that our guests can have an experience and an adventure with her, both at Magic Kingdom and at Disneyland. So what's going to happen, and I can just tell you a little bit. Okay.
Give us a scoop.
Okay.
I'm leaning in for this one.
All right. So Tiana actually invites us as the guests to go on an adventure with her in the bayou. And the fun thing about it is we as the guests, we are active participants in this adventure. So she acknowledges us, and just being the witty person that she is, she takes us through this amazing journey where we get to discover not only characters that we know and love from the film, but this is an opportunity to be introduced to some new characters. And I know that our guests are going to really embrace them. And then, of course, the adventure ends with the ultimate Mardi Gras party. Because if Tiana is throwing a party, it is the ultimate Mardi Gras party.
So when she says the ride ends with a massive Mardi Gras party, I think we can all agree that 99% sure that this happens after the current drop into the Briar Patch. The current Zippity Lady scene I was talking about a little bit earlier will now be Mardi Gras, and also, like I said, I don't think that boat is going anywhere. That thing is sticking around. It's too cool. I also think the talk about new characters is intriguing. Would they introduce brand new original characters for this attraction, or are they going to give some animals already in Splash Mountain, the America Sings animatronics, backstories and names, like the raccoon playing the harmonica? I love him. The beginning of her statement was pretty much, par for the course, us being active participants in the attraction. That sort of goes for all the new recent Disney attractions they've opened. They've talked about how we are going to be part of the story and we are going to be drawn into this world. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any means, but that's just what a Disney attraction should do at the baseline. The measurement, not the tap house. Now, what is the future of the Splash Mountain retheme? I have no idea. It could easily just be canceled and Disney's just gonna hope we forget about it, or I'm leaning toward more it being delayed. If we don't hear anything about it at D23 this year in September, I think that there is a very, very good possibility that it's not gonna happen for at least another half decade, or decade for that matter, or that it's canceled. Just like another attraction that also needs a little bit of TLC that, if they don't mention at D23, I'm probably going to have a massive meltdown. But what do you think? When do you think we're going to start getting Princess and the Frog touches here and there in New Orleans Square and Frontierland? And when do you think they're going to go full in on Princess and the Frog? When do you think the retheme is going to happen? Let me know in the comments, because I, like I said, am stupid and don't know. Now, of course, Splash Mountain is going extinct. It's going the way of the dodo, but we don't have to let all of the good memories of Splash Mountain go to waste. Some people out here really do love Splash Mountain. They like the drops, they like the music, and they love the smells. And lucky for you, I have a little bit of a science lesson to explain how that smell is made and how you can have it in your very own home or office. With today's sponsor, the Magic Candle Company. To the ad spot. The smelly smell you smell that smells smelly on Pirates of the Caribbean and Splash Mountain is actually not chlorine, but bromine. Disney uses bromine because it is quicker and more efficient on acting upon dirty water than its twin brother, chlorine. It also doesn't cause nearly as much irritation when it comes into contact with your eyes or your skin, so if your Splash Mountain boat sinks, don't worry, you're not gonna get a rash. Now, if all that talk about bromine has you wishing that your room smelled like it, don't worry, the Magic Candle Company sells a Pirate's Life candle that perfectly emulates the smell of Pirates of the Caribbean, both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. But they also have, for those log flume aficionados out there, a special splash scent that is more precisely and intricately matched to the scent of Splash Mountain by the Magic Candle Company's scent scientists. Believe me, I've toured the factory, it's crazy. Visit magiccandlecompany.com or use the link in the description down below, and offer code OFFHAND15 at checkout gets you 15% off your entire purchase, whether that be Pirate's Life, Splash, or you maybe want your room to smell like a resort hotel. Get the Floridian scented candle or soap. I can tell you right now, it smells exactly the same as the Grand Floridian, not as Pirate's Life or Splash. They got everything, Banshee Flight, churros, you name it, the Magic Candle Company can make it into a candle or a hand soap or a bath bomb. So, what are you waiting for? Get over to themagiccandlecompany.com and use that offer code OFFHAND15, and a massive thank you to the Magic Candle Company for sponsoring this video. And I think if there's one thing I want you all to take away from this video, whether you are sad to see Splash Mountain go or excited for the new retheme or both, there's one thing I want you to take away, and that is the attraction needs to still be named Splash Mountain at the end of the day. We have Big Thunder Mountain, we have Space Mountain, we have Splash Mountain. Losing one of those mountains would be just a crying shame, and I think the name should stay. Maybe with just like a colon subtitle, like Splash Mountain, Princess Tiana's Mardi Gras Adventure, or something like that. That would be cool. That'd be a nice in-between, a way to meet people in the middle. I just don't want to lose the Splash. Michael Eisner fought for the Splash. Tom Hanks fought for the Splash. So we need to keep the Splash. Hello everyone, and welcome to the end card for this video. I sure hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't make a ton of people mad, but you never know. We're talking about Splash Mountain. It's a very touchy subject. Like I said, let's just be nice to each other in the comments. If you don't want Splash Mountain to leave, you can say that, but also be nice to the people who are excited for the change. I couldn't have done this without my sponsors over at the Magic Candle Company and my patrons over at patreon.com/offhanddisney. They help keep this whole channel going going, and I am very, very thankful to them. If you would like to join their ranks, head over to the link in the description, or just go to patreon.com/offhanddisney, and even just $1 a month will get you access to video previews. Like the Patreon members got to see this video, a little bit of this video, I should say, on Monday as opposed to today, which I should be Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, I am very, very excited for next week's video because, yes, it will be an Epcot video, but also it's going to be the Cosmic Rewind opening day video. It will be on Saturday. It should be on Saturday. Maybe I'll upload it on Friday night. I just got a text. Very excited for it. It's going to be following sort of in the footsteps of my 50th anniversary video, where it'll be half history and details video, and then half like vlog of the day of the opening of Cosmic Rewind. I hope you will all tune in for that, for my honest opinion on it. Be sure to follow me on my other social medias at Offhand Disney on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I post exclusive videos there, and I will actually be posting a new TikTok this next week because I'll be in Walt Disney World and it'll be fun. If you enjoyed this video, a like and a comment really go a long way. And if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button if you want more videos like this, tackling the most prudent issues of the Disney parks, like when Splash Mountain's gonna open. Alright, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all at Epcot for next week's video. Goodbye.